Nitrogen is necessary for all known forms of life on earth. It is a component of all amino acids as it is incorporated into proteins and is present in the bases that make up nucleic acids such as RNA and DNA. Nitrogen gas is the largest constituent of the Earth's atmosphere and comprises about 78% of total atmospheric gases, whereas oxygen is only 21% and carbon dioxide is only 0.03%. But this atmospheric form of nitrogen, that is N2, is relatively non-reactive and unusable by plants. Because of its extremely unreactive nature, Antoine Lavoisier named it as azote, a Greek word meaning lifeless. The extremely strong triple bond in elemental nitrogen dominates nitrogen chemistry, causing difficulty for both organisms and industry in converting the nitrogen into useful compounds. The largest store of nitrogen is found in the atmosphere, where it exists as a gas, mainly N2. However, atmospheric nitrogen has limited availability for biological use, leading to a scarcity of usable nitrogen in many types of ecosystems. The atmospheric store is about 1,000,000 times larger than the total nitrogen contained in living organisms. Other major stores of nitrogen include organic matter in soil and the oceans. Despite its abundance in the atmosphere, nitrogen is often the most limiting nutrient for plant growth. This problem occurs because most plants can only take up nitrogen in two solid forms, ammonium ions or nitrate ions. Most plants obtain the nitrogen they need as inorganic nitrate from the soil solution. Ammonium is used less by plants for uptake because in large concentrations it is extremely toxic. Animals receive the required nitrogen they need for metabolism, growth and reproduction by the consumption of living or dead organic matter containing molecules composed partially of nitrogen. Thus, it is necessary to convert gaseous nitrogen into compounds such as nitrate or ammonia, which can be used by plants. The nitrogen cycle is the process by which nitrogen is converted between its various chemical forms. The nitrogen cycle describes movement of the element from the air into the biosphere and organic compounds, then back into the atmosphere. The nitrogen cycle, like the carbon cycle, is an important part of every ecosystem. The nitrogen cycle represents one of the most important nutrient cycles found in terrestrial ecosystems. It is of particular interest to ecologists because nitrogen availability can affect the rate of key ecosystem processes, including primary production and decomposition. Human activities such as fossil fuel combustion, use of artificial nitrogen fertilizers and release of nitrogen in wastewater have dramatically altered the global nitrogen cycle. The processes of the nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is present in the environment in a wide variety of chemical forms, including organic nitrogen, ammonium ions, nitrite and nitrate ions, nitrous oxide, nitric oxide or inorganic nitrogen gas. Organic nitrogen may be in the form of a living organism, humus or in the intermediate products of organic matter decomposition. The processes of the nitrogen cycle transform nitrogen from one form to another. Many of those processes are carried out by microbes either in their effort to harvest energy or to accumulate nitrogen in a form needed for their growth. The transformation of nitrogen into other chemical forms can be carried out through both biological and physical processes. There are 5 movements in the nitrogen cycle, all accomplished by microbes. They are fixation, uptake, mineralization, nitrification and denitrification. Nitrogen fixation. Atmospheric nitrogen must be processed or fixed to be used by plants. Some fixation occurs in lightning strikes, but most fixation is done by free living or symbiotic bacteria known as diazotropes. These bacteria have the nitrogenase enzyme that combines gaseous nitrogen with hydrogen to produce ammonia, which is converted by the bacteria into other organic compounds. Most biological nitrogen fixation occurs by the activity of enzyme nitrogenase complex found in a wide variety of bacteria and some archaea. An example of the free living bacteria is Azotobacter. Symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria such as Rhizobium usually live in the root nodules of legumes such as peas, alfalfa and locust trees. Here they form a mutualistic relationship with the plant, producing ammonia in exchange for carbohydrates. Because of this relationship, legumes will often increase the nitrogen content of nitrogen poor soils. A few non-legumes can also form such symbiosis. Today, about 30% of the total fixed nitrogen is produced industrially, mainly by the fertilizer industries using the Haber-Bosch process, which uses high temperatures and pressures to convert nitrogen gas into ammonia. We will discuss more about the process of nitrogen fixation in the next module. Uptake or assimilation of nitrogen. Plants take nitrogen from the soil by absorption through their roots as nitrate ions, nitrite ions or ammonium ions. Most nitrogen obtained by terrestrial animals can be traced back to the eating of plants at some stage of the food chain by the enzyme nitrate reductase. Nitrite is then reduced to ammonia by nitrite reductase. Ammonia is absorbed to amino acids, which are converted later to proteins, nucleic acids, etc. In plants that have a symbiotic relationship with rhizobia, some nitrogen is assimilated in the form of ammonium ions directly from the nodules. While many animals, fungi and other heterotrophic organisms obtain nitrogen by ingestion of amino acids, nucleotides and other small organic molecules, other heterotrophs including many bacteria are able to utilize inorganic compounds such as ammonium as sole nitrogen sources. Utilization of various nitrogen sources is carefully regulated in all organisms. Mineralization or ammonification. When an organism excretes waste or dies, the nitrogen in its tissues is in the form of organic nitrogen, that is amino acids, proteins, DNA, etc. Various fungi and prokaryotes then decompose the tissue and release inorganic nitrogen back into the ecosystem as ammonia by the process known as ammonification. During this process, a significant amount of the nitrogen contained within the dead organism is converted to ammonium ions. The ammonia then becomes available for uptake by plants and other microorganisms for growth. Decomposers such as earthworms, termites, slugs, snails, bacteria and fungi use extracellular enzymes to initiate degradation of plant polymers. Microorganisms use enzymes like proteases, lysozymes and nucleases to degrade nitrogen containing molecules. Nitrification. Nitrification is the process that converts ammonia to nitrite and then to nitrate, and is another important step in the global nitrogen cycle. Most nitrification occurs aerobically and is carried out exclusively by prokaryotes. The conversion of ammonia to nitrate is performed primarily by soil living bacteria and other nitrifying bacteria. In the primary stage of nitrification, the oxidation of ammonium is performed by bacteria such as Nitrosomonas species, which converts ammonia to nitrites. Other bacterial species such as Nitrobacter are responsible for the oxidation of nitrites into nitrates. It is important for the ammonia to be converted to nitrates or nitrites because ammonia gas is toxic to the plants. Due to their very high solubility and because soils are largely unable to retain anions, nitrates can enter groundwater. Elevated nitrate in groundwater is a concern for drinking water use because nitrate can interfere with blood oxygen levels in infants and cause blue baby syndrome. Where groundwater recharges stream flow, nitrate enriched groundwater can contribute to eutrophication, a process that leads to high algal population and growth, especially blue-green algal populations. While not directly toxic like ammonia to fish life, nitrate can have indirect effects on fishes through the process of eutrophication. There are two distinct steps of nitrification that are carried out by distinct type of microorganisms. The first step is the oxidation of ammonia to nitrite, which is carried out by microbes known as ammonia oxidizers. Aerobic ammonia oxidizers convert ammonia to nitrite via the intermediate hydroxylamine. Unlike nitrogen fixation that is carried out by many different kinds of microbes, ammonia oxidation is less broadly distributed among prokaryotes. The second step in nitrification is the oxidation of nitrite to nitrate. This step is carried out by a completely separate group of prokaryotes known as nitrite oxidizing bacteria. Some of the genera involved in nitrite oxidation include Nitrospira, Nitrobacter, Nitrococcus and Nitrospina. Similar to ammonia oxidizers, the energy generated from the oxidation of nitrite to nitrate is very small and thus growth yields are very low. In fact, ammonia and nitrite oxidizers must oxidize many molecules of ammonia or nitrite in order to fix a single molecule of nitrogen. For complete nitrification, both ammonia oxidation and nitrite oxidation must occur. Ammonia oxidizers and nitrite oxidizers are ubiquitous in aerobic environments. They have been extensively studied in natural environments such as soils, estuaries, lakes and open ocean environments. However, ammonia and nitrite oxidizers also play a very important role in wastewater treatment facilities by removing potentially harmful levels of ammonium that could lead to the pollution of the receiving waters. Much research has focused on how to maintain stable populations of these important microbes in wastewater treatment plants. Additionally, ammonia and nitrite oxidizers help to maintain healthy aquaria by facilitating the removal of potentially toxic ammonium excreted in fish urine. NAMOX, an abbreviation for anaerobic ammonium oxidation, is a globally important microbial process of the nitrogen cycle. Traditionally, all nitrification was thought to be carried out under aerobic conditions, but a new type of ammonia oxidation occurring under anoxic conditions was reported. NAMOX is carried out by prokaryotes belonging to the Planctomycetes phylum of bacteria. NAMOX bacteria oxidize ammonia by using nitrite as the electron acceptor to produce gaseous nitrogen. NAMOX bacteria were first discovered in anoxic bioreactors of wastewater treatment plants, but have since been found in a variety of aquatic systems, including low oxygen zones of the ocean, coastal and estuarine sediments, mangroves and freshwater lakes. In some areas of the ocean, the NAMOX process is considered to be responsible for a significant loss of nitrogen. Denitrification. Denitrification is the process that converts nitrate to nitrogen gas, thus removing bioavailable nitrogen and returning it to the atmosphere. Denitrification is the reduction of nitrates back into the largely inert nitrogen gas, completing the nitrogen cycle. This process is performed by bacterial species such as Pseudomonas and Clostridium in anaerobic conditions. They use nitrate as an electron acceptor in the place of oxygen during respiration. Denitrification happens in anaerobic conditions, that is, in waterlogged soils. The denitrifying bacteria use nitrates in the soil to carry out respiration and consequently produce nitrogen gas, which is inert and unavailable to plants. Dinitrogen gas is the ultimate end product of denitrification, but other intermediate gaseous forms of nitrogen exist. Some of these gases, such as nitrous oxide, are considered as greenhouse gases reacting with ozone and contributing to air pollution. Unlike nitrification, denitrification is an anaerobic process occurring mostly in soils and sediments and anoxic zones in lakes and oceans. It is important in that it removes fixed nitrogen, that is nitrate, from the ecosystem and returns it to the atmosphere in a biologically inert form, that is nitrogen. This is particularly important in agriculture, where the loss of nitrates in fertilizers is detrimental and costly. Denitrification in wastewater treatment plays a very beneficial role by removing unwanted nitrates from the wastewater effluent, thereby reducing the chances that the water discharged from the treatment plants will cause undesirable consequences, that is, algal blooms. Ecological implications of human influences on the nitrogen cycle. Many human activities have a significant impact on the nitrogen cycle. Burning fossil fuels, application of nitrogen based fertilizers and other activities can dramatically increase the amount of biologically available nitrogen in an ecosystem, leading to severe alterations of the nitrogen cycle in both aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems. In terrestrial ecosystems, the addition of nitrogen can lead to nutrient imbalance in trees, changes in forest health and decline in biodiversity. With increased nitrogen availability, there is often a change in carbon storage, thus impacting more processes than just the nitrogen cycle. In agricultural systems, Fertilizers are used extensively to increase plant production, but unused nitrogen, usually in the form of nitrate, can leach out of the soil, enter streams and rivers, and ultimately make its way into our drinking water. Much of the nitrogen applied to agricultural and urban areas ultimately enters rivers and near-shore coastal systems. In near-shore marine systems, increases in nitrogen can often lead to anoxia, that is no oxygen, or hypoxia, that is low oxygen, altered biodiversity, changes in food web structure, and general habitat degradation. One common consequence of increased nitrogen is an increase in harmful algal blooms. Toxic blooms of certain types of dinoflagellates have been associated with high fish and shellfish mortality in some areas. The addition of nitrogen can lead to changes in biodiversity and species composition that can lead to changes in overall ecosystem functions. It has been suggested that alteration to the nitrogen cycle may lead to an increased risk of parasitic and infectious diseases among humans and wildlife. Additionally, increases in nitrogen in aquatic systems can lead to increased acidification in freshwater ecosystems. As a result of extensive cultivation of legumes, particularly soybean, alfalfa and clover, growing use of the Haber-Bosch process in the creation of chemical fertilizers, and pollution emitted by vehicles and industrial plants, human beings have more than doubled the annual transfer of nitrogen into biologically available forms. Human alterations to the global nitrogen cycle are most intense in developed countries and in Asia, where vehicle emissions and industrial agriculture are highest. Nitrous oxide has risen in the atmosphere as a result of agricultural fertilization, biomass burning, cattle and feedlots, and industrial sources. N2O has deleterious effects in the stratosphere, where it breaks down and acts as a catalyst in the destruction of atmospheric ozone. Nitrous oxide is also a greenhouse gas and is currently the third largest contributor to global warming after carbon dioxide and methane. While not as abundant in the atmosphere as carbon dioxide, it is for an equivalent mass nearly 300 times more potent in its ability to warm the planet. Ammonia in the atmosphere has tripled as a result of human activities. It is a reactant in the atmosphere where it acts as an aerosol, decreasing air quality and clinging to water droplets, eventually resulting in nitric acid that produces acid rain. Atmospheric ammonia and nitric acid also damage respiratory systems. The very high temperature of lightning naturally produces small amounts of nitrogen oxide, ammonia and nitric acid, but high temperature combustion has contributed to a 6 or 7-fold increase in the flux of NOx to the atmosphere. Its production is a function of combustion temperature. The higher the temperature, the more NOx is produced. Ammonia and nitrous oxides actively alter atmospheric chemistry. They are precursors of tropospheric ozone production, which contributes to smog and acid rain, damages plants and increases nitrogen inputs to ecosystems. Ecosystem processes can increase with nitrogen fertilization, but anthropogenic input can also result in nitrogen saturation, which weakens productivity and can damage the health of plants, animals, fish and humans. Wastewater treatment. On-site sewage facilities such as septic tanks and holding tanks release large amounts of nitrogen into the environment by discharging through a drained field into the ground. Microbial activity consumes the nitrogen and other contaminants in the wastewater. However, in certain areas, microbial activity is unable to process all the contaminants and some or all of the wastewater with the contaminants enters the aquifers. These contaminants accumulate and eventually end up in drinking water. One of the important contaminants is nitrogen in the form of nitrate. A nitrate concentration of 10 ppm or 10 milligrams per liter is the current limit by Environmental Protection Agency for drinking water, while typical household wastewater can produce a range of 20 to 85 ppm. Conclusion. Thus, in this module, we have discussed about various steps involved in nitrogen cycle and the significance of these processes. The effect of human activities on nitrogen cycle has also been discussed. In the next module, we will discuss the process of nitrogen fixation in detail.